This week on the Brody File, we're zooming along in Indianapolis. We're at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. The cars are fast and powerful. And speaking of powerful, we're one-on-one with the Governor, Mike Pence. Conservatives would love to see him run for president.
All right, now look, every time we speak, I always have to ask you a president. You know I'm going to ask you a presidential. We did this last time. We always do this. But now I always have to figure out a way to how do I ask you without asking? Are you going to run?
Also, helping homeless teenagers in Indiana with the help of volunteers who love Jesus.
God just captured my heart in this hotel room. And from that point on, my life just took a very different direction. Of what I thought was success and what is success were two different things.
We're ready to rev it up on the Brody File, on location at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Next. And welcome everybody to the Brody File. You're looking at the fabled Indianapolis Motor Speedway, home to the Indianapolis 500. They do call it the greatest spectacle in racing. The big race comes up Memorial Day weekend, and look, how could we not come to Indianapolis and not shoot the show here? We had to do that, of course we did. The Speedway was actually built in 1909. That means 105 years ago. 328 acres, that is huge. How huge, you ask? Well, actually, you can fit Churchill Downs, Yankee Stadium, the Rose Bowl, the Roman Coliseum, Vatican City, all inside the Indianapolis 500. That is huge. We're going to have more about this historic, wonderful venue a little later in the show. But we begin this week with a one-on-one exclusive, and that means the Brody File, once again in full stalking mode. We have stalked and walked our way over to the State House here in Indianapolis for our interview with Governor Mike Pence. We spoke with the governor about a myriad of topics. The former House member is respected nationally by the broad conservative movement. Well, here in Indiana, he's in his second year as governor, and so far he has passed the largest state tax cut in Indiana history. He's also expanded school choice. Those are a few of the highlights, but there are critics too. So now, our Brody File interview with Governor Mike Pence. Mike Pence is a Hoosier at heart. He's an Indiana guy who's loving it in Hoosierville, and he's touting Indiana as a state that gets things done.
We're a state that works because over much of the last 10 years, we've really produced the kind of leadership that's put common sense, conservative principles into practice. And we've been seeing the results. We have the lowest unemployment rate in the Midwest. We have one of the fastest growing workforces in the country. One of the fastest growing educational choice programs. And we're seeing improved test scores and graduation rates that are all giving evidence that the efforts that have been made both by the prior administration and by our administration in the last year and a half are really paying off.
Pence has made expanding educational opportunities a priority, like school vouchers. He's also said no to the controversial Common Core curriculum, an education plan where government bureaucrats make the educational decisions. Still, he's getting criticism from some who say Indiana's educational standards are similar to a Common Core approach.
You have taken the initiative here legislatively to, in essence, kind of do away with any sort of Common Core agenda. I know there are critics out there too that say, well, the standards, they feel maybe to a degree even mirror some of what Common Core was after. You want to clear that up a little bit?
I was pleased earlier this year to sign into law measures that formally took Indiana out of the Common Core national standards. We did that on that principle of state and local control. Whatever differences people might have on the standards that we've produced, there's no doubt these were written by Hoosiers for Hoosiers. And the debate now ultimately is happening here in the state of Indiana where it belongs.
Pence, unlike other Republican governors, is not taking more federal money to expand Medicaid. He says he'll only take Uncle Sam's money if it's done the Indiana way.
Here in Indiana, we have a very innovative program. We call it the Healthy Indiana Plan that uses the principles of consumer-driven healthcare, where people are able to have health savings accounts. It encourages them to take more ownership of their own healthcare decisions. It moves people from emergency room care to primary care. And to your point, it's been a very successful and very popular program. And so what we've said to federal officials is that we're not interested in expanding traditional Medicaid. But if we could, in effect, end traditional Medicaid in Indiana for virtually all of our citizens and replace it with the kind of consumer-driven health care enshrined in the Healthy Indiana Plan, that we would be open to that.
Even though Pence is busy with Indiana politics, what about the national fight between the GOP establishment and the Tea Party?
What is your take on the direction of the party, and what direction would you like to see this party go, or at least adapt to as the party and the country moves forward here?
I'm spending all of my time thinking about the future of Indiana, not the future of my political party. I really believe that the pathway forward for our country and my party is not just simply for renewed leadership in Washington, D.C. to cut government spending, but I'm looking for new leaders in Washington, D.C. to permanently reduce the size and scope of the federal government by restoring to the states those resources and responsibilities that are rightfully theirs under the Constitution, because the states are getting it done.
That is Governor Mike Pence here on the Brody File. We're going to have more from the governor a little later, where we discuss a possible future presidential run. You definitely want to stick around for that. All right, when we roll on here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, narrowing down the cities to host the Republican National Convention, Jenny in the B Block is here with that.
The American Bible Challenge is back. Premiering May 22nd at 8/7 Central. Jeff Foxworthy is ready to play.
The whole family's gonna love it.
Kurt Franklin's gonna sway.
Are you ready?
And you'll see the Bible in a whole new way.
Don't I look chic? That was impressive.
An all-new season premieres Thursday, May 22nd at 8/7 Central, only on Game Show Network.
Pat Boone here with some good news you can trust. Today, our faith, families, and our freedoms are under attack. Polls say 2 out of 3 Americans no longer trust government. A stalled economy, weakening dollar, and politicians willing to steal money from our children to waste on unfixable problems. So, whom can you trust? Well, our money still says in God we trust. But do we? Or have we quietly allowed the things we hold sacred to be stolen by the enemies of traditional values? Today, our government spends almost twice its income, running up a tab for future generations into the hundreds of trillions. How can you stop this from happening to your family? Well, it's all covered in a fantastic new book, The Great Withdrawal by Craig Smith and Dr. Lowell Ponte. Every American needs to read this book. Why don't you call now for a free copy of The Great Withdrawal? It's the simple truth you can trust.
The American Bible Challenge is back. Premiering May 22nd at 8/7 Central. Jeff Foxworthy is ready to play.
The whole family's gonna love it.
Kurt Franklin's gonna sway.
Are you ready?
And you'll see the Bible in a whole new way.
Don't I look chic? That was impressive.
An all-new season premieres Thursday, May 22nd at 8/7 Central, only on Game Show Network.
And we're back now on the Brody File at the Indianapolis 500. The Democrat National Committee has asked Indianapolis and a handful of other cities to actually submit a bid to host the Democrats' presidential convention in 2016. However, it doesn't appear that Indianapolis has any interest in hosting the big event. Now, on the Republican side, there are now just a few cities left in the running to host their presidential convention. And you know who has more on this? Well, hey, of course, you know, it's the B Block, and that means it's time for Jenny in the B Block.
You go, girl! David, you know, in Dallas, to be relevant, you have to go big. And the city is hoping to score a big deal with the Republican National Committee. Glossy proposals.
Slick.
High stakes and a potential jackpot for the chosen city. An estimated $150 million will be spent by the 50,000 delegates, party activists, and media in attendance. On the list, Cleveland, Denver, Cincinnati, and Kansas City. 2 cities, however, have the upper hand, Las Vegas and Dallas. Dallas, after all, belongs to the reddest of red states.
I think the brand of Dallas fits very well with the Republican brand. Dallas is all about free market capitalism, low taxes, low regulation, and I think that's a message that I think resonates with the public.
Texas means big. From trucks to skylines to the biggest drawing card of them all, money. That carries extra pull now that Congress has cut the $18 million it typically hands out to each party convention. The host city will need to raise $60, even $70 million. And Dallas can guarantee a big chunk of that up front.
In Texas, we have something called the Major Events Trust Fund, and that's a portion of the taxes generated by an event such as the Republican National Convention can actually go back to the organization hosting the event and used to pay for things such as security, transportation.
As convention capital of the continent, Las Vegas is also well positioned to raise high roller money. Even Democrat Senate Majority Leader Harry Reid wants the GOP to pick Vegas. Todd Gilman is Washington bureau chief for the Dallas Morning News.
Las Vegas has hotels so big that they could put all of the delegates in just 2 of them within a half mile of the convention center. That's a huge selling point to the Republicans, who remember very well and painfully the experience in Tampa in 2012, where some delegates were stuck on buses for 4 or 5 hours occasionally during the convention because security and traffic was so horrific.
While Las Vegas offers many family-friendly activities, it's still known as Sin City. A group of evangelical leaders recently sent a letter warning RNC Chairman Reince Priebus. We urge you to reject Las Vegas and celebrate the vibrancy and strength of the Republican Party in a place not at odds with its values, they wrote. But evangelical Mike Huckabee suggests party leaders shouldn't worry.
He said, I went there with $20 and 10 commandments and didn't break either of them. So the Las Vegas people loved that because that was a huge endorsement from a very prominent evangelical.
But when it comes to the possibility of a 2016 Republican National Convention being held here in Dallas, Texas, the chances are, well, still pretty big.
Dallas all the way.
Dallas all the way.
It's a great way to launch a national campaign from the reddest of red states in the country to go out and tell the story of the success of Dallas is really the success of America.
The last time Republicans held their national convention here in Dallas, Ronald Reagan was the nominee. David, we know how that turned out, so we'll have to wait and see if Republicans want to come here again.
Jenny in the B block on the case. We're going to have updates on the convention site as the year progresses. All right, when we roll on from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, we check in on a different race, racing to save homeless teenagers in Indiana. Back in a moment.
Attention sleep apnea patients. Are you tired of the expense and hassle of getting your CPAP and BiPAP supplies? Are you fed up with dealing with ill-fitting, leaking, or worn-out masks and straps? Are you worried about the effects that unsanitary tubes, cushions, and filters have on your health? If you said yes to any of these questions, Allied Medical Supply Network has the solution to your problems. You could qualify to have your supplies regularly delivered right to your door at little or no cost to you. That's right, no more inconvenience, no worn-out masks and straps, no more unsanitary equipment, just restful sleep. Call Allied Medical Supply Network today to determine if you may qualify to receive your fresh, brand-name supplies at little or no cost. Don't delay. Call us now to see if you are eligible to save money on regular delivery of your CPAP and BiPAP supplies. Call 1-800-815-9947. That's 1-800-815-9947. Or go to cpapsupplyhelpline.com.
And welcome back to the Brody File here at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. All right, well look, here at IMS they race cars, but now we have a story for you about a race against time. Imagine homeless teenagers out on the street, nowhere to go. Well, a Christian ministry here in Indianapolis called Outreach is on the scene, and they're racing against time to get these kids off the streets and out of trouble. From the crossroads of America, Eric Howard found himself at a crossroad with God.
God just captured my heart in this hotel room. And I can tell you what I was wearing, the length of my hair, the steam on the mirror, the color of the carpet, the tree outside, the bedspread. And from that point on, my life just took a very different direction. Of what I thought was success and what is success were two different things.
That moment put Howard on a journey to serve a group many don't even know exist. When you think of Indianapolis, you of course think of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, the Indy 500. And while they do a lot of racing here, the folks at Outreach Incorporated are doing a different sort of race. They're racing against time to save homeless teenagers.
So from that point, bottles of water, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and blankets in the trunk of a car, it's blossomed to where we are now.
And where is that exactly? A full-blown ministry helping teenagers living on the streets of Indy. Howard's Outreach, Inc. provides basic and often overlooked necessities. Necessities that Howard says he didn't even consider until a run-in with a frustrated teenager changed his thinking.
Hey, I've been doing ministry with the homeless for, 12 years, 14 years. Please tell me what I don't understand. And he goes, I can go out and get a job. And of course, my flesh just said, then why don't you? Probably wasn't the best answer I could have said at that moment. He goes, what you don't understand is I can smell myself. Do you really want me serving up your shake and fries? And it has dawned on me. So it's a question of dignity.
Through the help of donations, Outreach added laundry facilities, showers, job interview courses, outdoor adventures, graduation assistance, and yes, the little things that teens look forward to, like driving lessons, all in an attempt to provide a sense of normalcy and a place to call home.
So you walk into a living room, which you're received well, just like you're walking into our house, whatever, you're bringing it to a guest.
Outreach also incorporated a street initiative team that ventures to parts of the city where others fear to tread. Often at night, they spend hours looking under bridges and overpasses to help those in need. One specific offer appealed to 24-year-old Tiffany Pettiford.
What I found at Outreach is what I was looking for, literally, for my whole teenage life to become an adult. It's just love. This is a safe place that you can come and feel love, and they have the love of God there, which is really important.
Homeless since the age of 21, life started out rough for Tiffany.
As a young child, I went to 12 different elementary schools. I went to 3 different middle schools and 2 different high schools. So never really had any stability.
Then changes at home forced her into a life on the streets.
I could very well be dead if I didn't turn my life to Christ. Situations like I can remember times where I'll be walking the streets at 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning in areas I probably shouldn't even be in. Anything could have happened.
And something did happen. Tiffany found God's love on the steps of Outreach.
The first day I went there, I walked to the car 3 times before I actually went into the building. I'm like, I don't know if I should do this, I was very hesitant.
She found her physical needs met as well as her spiritual needs.
I literally came there broken, from my mind frame or how I looked at life and emotionally and physically, and it really changed me into the woman that I am today.
Now that woman is a thriving 24-year-old college student with a great job and a new home. She's happy to show off her new life and give credit to God's love and the help of Outreach. She also rediscovered a lost relationship.
My brother and someone who he calls his older brother, they were online looking for him. And at the same time that they were looking for him, our dad was looking for us. Me and my dad's relationship it's actually really good. I'm the youngest, so I kind of get spoiled a little bit.
Proving that when God writes the story, miracles can even come from the trunk of a car. By the way, a big thank you to Amber Strong from Indiana, by the way, and she is intimately familiar with the folks at Outreach. The story would not have been possible without her. Amber, a big shout out. All right, when we roll on from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, will the governor of Indiana run for president? Oh, I can't wait to hear the answer. Well, more on our one-on-one conversation with Mike Pence. We're back in a moment.
Announcing an important breakthrough in healthcare that can benefit everyone. If you or anyone you love needs affordable health insurance, regardless of a pre-existing medical condition, call Quick Insurance 123 today and get the immediate relief you deserve. Quick Insurance 123 was created to provide affordable health insurance to all uninsured Americans, with or without pre-existing conditions. This is not a discount card. This is a real insurance program that lets you choose from many affordable health plans, with access to doctors, hospitals, emergency services, and more. So call the number on your screen now and get the health coverage you need just for calling. As a special bonus, we'll send you a free prescription savings card that could save you up to 85% on your prescriptions. That's right, You could save up to 85% on your prescriptions just for calling. Call Quick Insurance 123 to find out how you can get affordable health insurance and receive your free prescription savings card just for calling. Don't wait. Getting a free quote is as easy as 1, 2, 3. Call today.
And welcome back to the Brody File. We're on the road at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Well, earlier in the show, we had some of our one-on-one conversation with Indiana Governor Mike Pence. Now, part 2. And among the highlights, we ask him about a possible presidential run. Does he have aspirations for higher office? Here's the governor. The rumors are flying because he might be Governor Pence now, but could he become President Pence? Or at least presidential candidate Pence? For years, he's been rumored to run for the White House, and the Brody File asks him every time we see him, and here we go again.
All right, now look, every time we speak, I always have to ask you a president. You know I'm going to ask you a presidential. We did this last time. We always do this. But now I always have to figure out a way to how do I ask you without asking, are you going to run in 2016? So here's the way I've decided I'm going to ask it this time. Forget about what you think. When Karen and the family hear these, they read the newspaper, they have Google, don't they? What do they think?
Well, I can tell you, any time that I'm mentioned for the highest office in the land is it's a humbling and an encouraging thing for me and for my family. But our focus is on Indiana. The one thing you find about these jobs as governors is that they are, in a very real sense, a consuming task. I mean, each and every day, we're tasked with focusing on how we can improve the prosperity and the well-being of the people of our state, and I take that to heart, and that's why I'll stay focused on the future of the people of Indiana, and we'll let my future take care of itself.
In the meantime, the governor will look to God for inspiration, specifically the Bible.
So I snooped around a little bit in the office. Don't worry, I didn't go in any drawers or anything. But I saw on your desk there the Bible, and it looks pretty worn, as in, boy, you're working that Bible pretty good. Tell me a little bit about God's role in bringing you here to the state capitol and how that book keeps you grounded, keeps your family grounded.
Well, for me, I was raised in a family that believed in church and strong religious background. Then I made a personal decision for Christ when I was a freshman in college down in southern Indiana. And just about each and every day, I like to start out my day with a little bit of time in the book, a little bit of time in prayer. And that's become even more important to me as I've shouldered the responsibilities of this office. When I took my oath of office, I put my hand on that Bible over on that desk, but it was open to the page where Solomon's prayer appears. And it's a prayer I pray often, for a discerning heart to distinguish between right and wrong. For as he asked, who is able to govern this great people of yours? You know, the people of Indiana are great people. And they are people of strong hearts, strong opinions, and high expectations. And so I approach this job humbly, and prayerfully, and will always do so for so long as I have the opportunity to serve.
Mike Pence on the Brody File. All right, for a bit more on this famed motor speedway, we went in search of answers, and we found them with the president of IMS, Doug Bowles.
If I could have picked my dream job as I was growing up, and certainly in college, it would have been to be at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. I come in every day. I can't wait to get here. I still pinch myself that I'm working at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and especially in this year when we've got so much change going on, starting a new road race for the Indy cars to kick off the month of May leading up to the Indianapolis 500, and we're on a run up to 2016, which will be our 100th running of the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So we've been here 105 years. There's only been a handful of folks that have been able to sit in the president's chair. I'm just really blessed and fortunate to be here.
Hey, a big thank you to everyone here at the Motor Speedway who made this show possible. We really do appreciate it. All right, back in a moment with our Oy Vey moment of the week.
Do you have an idea for an invention or a new product? Brian and Alice Jagosh, the inventors of the halftime drill driver, did. They invented a power drill attachment that lets you drill, flip, and drive in seconds. Brian and Alice licensed their invention to the company that brought you the Snuggie, and it's now selling in major retailers nationwide. Look for the Invent Help Caveman on the package. If you have an invention that you would like to try to patent and submit to companies for possible review and want free information on how Invent Help may be able to assist you, call now. Invent Help is America's largest inventor service company with sales offices in more than 60 cities nationwide. Call Invent Help today for free information. Our clients made a financial gain with their invention, but this is just their individual result. Brian and Alice's experience is not typical, as only a very small number of inventions are licensed or sold in stores.
For your free inventors information, call 1-800-559-8567. That's 1-800-559-8567.
If you had a choice between going bald and a full head of hair, which would you choose? Advances in medical science have resulted in the world's first and only permanent solution to hair loss.
Yes!
You wash it, you cut it. It's your own real, naturally growing hair. When it comes to hair restoration, no one in the world has more experience than Bosley. The results look completely natural and are affordable on nearly any budget. But the entire process can't be explained in 60 brief seconds. So to find out more about this clinically proven and permanent solution to hair loss, call now to receive your free no-obligation information kit. It'll answer all of your questions about hair loss and hair restoration. Plus, we'll also send you this $250 gift certificate just for calling. Every day you wait, you're losing more hair. So don't put it off any longer. You owe it to yourself to find out the facts. Choose hair. Choose Bosley.
Call 800-868-9957. That's 800-868-9957.
And welcome back to the Brody File show, everybody. You know, here at the Motor Speedway, they take tradition pretty seriously, from kissing the bricks to Jim Neighbors' annual rendition of that song, Back Home Again in Indiana.
Back home again.
And then there's the famed sip of milk. The point is, tradition is important. So what happens when you part with tradition? Well, you get this week's Retro Oy Vey Moment of the Week. So in 1993, Emerson Fittipaldi broke with tradition by celebrating his Indy 500 win by sipping orange juice instead of milk. That's right, apparently he owned orange groves. He wanted to promote the industry.
No, I'm not having the milk, sir.
Put that green on. Now there's a first. Emerson, you're not going to drink the milk.
Well, I'm going to drink the orange juice. That's my production, and I'm going to have this time orange juice.
Well, it didn't go over well at all with IndyCar fans. He was booed at the next IndyCar race. And again, believe it or not, 15 years later, he was still getting booed when he returned to the Motor Speedway. That is a problem for Emerson Fittipaldi. And in keeping with traditions, we got to kiss the bricks. So we went down, there I am. What am I doing on a suit on these bricks? And that's disgusting. But no, I mean, it's tradition. I got to do it. I kiss the bricks. I am now on antibiotics. That does it, everybody. We've had a great time here at the Indianapolis 500, the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Thanks to Steve Jacoby, Jason Gill, our photographers, producer extraordinaire, Amber Strong, for all of us here at the Brody File. God bless. Have a great week.